with that. Words cannot express the tremendous grief our nation is experiencing over last Friday's incident at Sandy Hollow Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut. Please join me in a moment of silence and honor those most impacted.
Thank you. Now, if you all join me in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to open our meeting with a public hearing on the 2012-13 tax levy. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this topic this evening? I think Assistant Superintendent Andrea, do you want to make a couple comments on this?
Correct. The only thing I wanted to inform all of you of, we just received updated information today from the assessor's office. And unfortunately, the news is the equalized assessed valuation has actually dropped from what we originally had told you. Money-wise, that's why we inflate so that we make certain that if these adjustments happen, we're getting all the money that we possibly can. But just so that you're informed, the value dropped a little more than $500,000, which ends up driving that tax rate up. But it's a little more than 1 cent that actually impacts the tax rate.
Okay. Any other comments on the public hearing? Otherwise, we will close the public hearing. And we will have a vote on the levy later on our agenda. Public participation recognition. Pleased that tonight we're going to open this public participation with a showcase of the DeKalb High School Magical Singers. I think Mr. Erickson's here, but they're going to do a performance under the direction of Travis Erickson. Travis, the floor is yours.
Dios guardò l'uomo delle stracodera, Dios guardò l'uomo delle stracodera, io ci da guardare vera, Dios guardò l'uomo delle stracodera, Dios guardò l'uomo delle stracodera.
Listen to the words of the cheerful loving life in the year. Oh, the raise in the sun, oh, the dance all in the town. Hey, Robin, we'll sing a song and we'll tell Christmas is here. Merry, merry, merry Christmas, merry, merry, merry Christmas. How the sun down and down, jingle, 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 all the bells, sweets and the bells, all sing, sing, all goes away. Christmas is here, bring your cheer to the road, break and the ball, ding dong dong, that is a song, ding jingle ding, roll carry me. Listen to the words of the cheerful loving life in the year. Oh, the power is in the sun, oh, the dance all in the town. Hey, Robin, we'll sing a song and we'll share Christmas is here. Merry, merry, merry Christmas, merry, merry, merry Christmas. Down the sun, down and down, jingle jump to every where are we? We never forgot. All the trees that are in the wood, now high as the crown. All the rising of the sun, and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry-go-round, and sweet singing in the choir. Bright as the broad sun, as bright as the living dawn, and there is for Jesus to be our sweet Savior. And the rising of the sun, and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry-go-round, and sweet singing in the choir. Bright as the always, as the living dawn, and there is Jesus Christ, to you have saved, to you have saved us all. And Mary born Jesus on Christmas morn. Oh, the rising of the sun, and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry-go-round, and singing in the choir. The holy bells are gone, as visions and they go, and glory bells, sweet Jesus Christ, Lord, to redeem us all. Oh, the rising of the sun, and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry-go-round, and sweet singing in the choir. Then we are wandering among the fields so green, and now we come along sailing so plainly to be seen. For 'tis Christmas Day, and we travel far and near. May God bless you and send you a happy New Year. Summer day says, and say from door to door, we are no longer strangers to the Savior's door. For 'tis Christmas Day, when we travel far and near. May God bless you and send you a happy New Year. God bless the master of this house, the mistress of his soul, and all the little children that round the table go. For this
Thank you. Thank you. Would you want to introduce who's with you, Mr. Erickson?
Yes, this is Hannah Green, who's a 2008 graduate of the DeKalb CUSD428, she's the former dean, and she has been voluntarily assisting us here with the medical group, and it's great to have her. So she's been helping us out.
Thank you. Thank you, students. I think it's safe to say it's probably the best this room has ever sounded. Okay, we have a nice recognition tonight for a very good employee. The Board of Education will recognize tonight Cindy Carpenter. She is our District Financial Accounts Manager for completing the Illinois ASBO Educational Support Staff Professional Designation Program. So, Cindy, if you come forward. I believe we gave you something, an award last year, so you must have a room full of these.
We're building a trophy case here.
It's been a pleasure working with you over the last couple of years. Congratulations. We also have some donations. The Board of Education, I'd like to have a motion made that the Board of Education accept with gratitude the donation of $3,235.15 in grants from the DeKalb Education Foundation to the DeKalb School District.
So,
Well, I'm not done yet. The donation of a $2,400 opportunity grant from DeKalb County Community Foundation to the DeKalb School District to help fund Arts Midwest World Fest, and the donation of $564 grant from the DeKalb County Community Foundation to Jefferson Elementary to help support their Big Brother, Big Sisters Mentoring Barbs program. Now,
so moved.
okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you to the DeKalb County Community Foundation and also the DeKalb Education Foundation. Please do.
This is pretty exciting, and I just want to publicly comment on this Arts Midwest. We've been working with the school district of Sycamore and Northern Illinois University's Fine Arts Department, Dr. Holly, and we've had a group of people together to attract to DeKalb area over a 2-year period of time, which 4 different groups from the country to perform here, and also spend 3 days during the week providing workshops for our students in the area in coordination with NIU. And so we're out trying to find grant dollars and donations to make this happen. And the first group will be coming the week of September 20th, and they'll be from the Middle East. So we're very excited about this to provide that opportunity for the DeKalb region. So we'll keep you posted as to when groups are coming in. There'll be a lot of advertisements. Just wanted to say.
Jim, take a drink of water, because somebody had me speak again a little bit. In light of the tragic things that happened on Friday, there was a lot of activity at the school district this weekend to prepare principals, teachers, students for class on Monday. And I want to first recognize our district administration for a lot of time this weekend. And Jim, I'd like you to maybe just highlight a few of the things that were done.
All right. Obviously, safety is a huge priority, and it was just magnified a billion times by the incident in Connecticut. So we discussed this, actually Tom and I discussed this. We were watching the news, and we just wanted to be prepared for Monday, because we knew this would, all across the country, parents would be dropping off their kids on Monday thinking about that incident. So we met with our principals and all of our administrators over here. I want to commend all of them, especially Jessica Stewart, who is our director of our special education and support services, who helped coordinate a lot of these efforts. But we met to make sure we were communicating the same message, to make sure we were highly visible at our schools, to make sure everyone shared the same message, but we varied it at each level. And so we were very visible on Monday. Each principal sent out a Sky Alert and had a faculty meeting on Monday morning to make sure all the teachers understood the expectations we had of them, especially at the different levels. We catered to each level. And then we were visible throughout the day Monday. Today I met with the chief of police to review some of the protocols we put in place. Ironically, for our school district, Tammy Carson and Connie Roman, who have been coordinating our safety procedures, just finished reviewing our safety protocols at each building, including here on our lockdown procedures. And all of our principals have been trained on the national emergency system on lockdown procedures. And matter of fact, I just received the revisions from all of our discussions on all the lockdown procedures. Meeting with the chief of police, he's making some other recommendations that we're going to need to consider. And I highly suspect that once the National Emergency System organization puts together more protocols, there will be other things that districts will be required to follow. The whole landscape, I think it was the superintendent, we read from Genoa Kingston brought this up, the whole landscape now has changed in terms of when people come to our door and when kids get dropped off at our school. And we're going to examine it, we're going to make it a high priority. And I'm sure I'm missing some things, but I can tell you I'm very proud of all my principals and my administrative team to come in at the last second on a Saturday and help us plan and get ready for everything we felt we needed to do. There is a vigil on Friday on the corner of First and Lincoln Highway at 5 o'clock. And around the country, people have a need. There's a real need for us to do that. So I'm just letting you know in case you want to be there with all of us. So that's sort of something.
Okay, I just want to, before public comments, give an update on meetings that have been held with the Park District and with the City Council. We have met twice. At our meeting, we talked about a number of different things back and forth. And at the Park District meeting on, I believe it was last Thursday night, I'm not sure, but their board, through unanimous consent, agreed to work in principle and cooperatively to develop a plan to purchase the land on 4th and Fairview, Kiwanis Park. I, with this time, would like to ask our board if there is consent to also do that.
Yes.
Okay. With that being said, in anticipation of that, myself and Joan Hanson, President of the Park Board, we do have a press release that we will share with members of our press tonight. I'll just read it. But the DeKalb Board of Education for District 428 and the DeKalb Park District today have agreed in principle to work cooperatively to develop an intergovernmental agreement in which the Park District will purchase 41 acres of school district property located at 4th and Fairview, Kiwanis Park, in DeKalb. It is anticipated that the terms and conditions of the agreement will be brought to each respective board for review in early 2013. So, that is signed by myself and by Joan Burks Hanson. So, that's where we stand on that particular issue. Public comment. Do we have any cards? No cards? Okay. Board and committee reports and correspondence. Nina?
We did have a curriculum council meeting last week, and several things were brought up. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we all sang happy birthday to Dr. Moeller. And I thought we sang in very good voice. We should have had magical singers.
Not quite with the band.
Not quite with the band. Not at all. I was pretty quiet. Just a couple of things. We did have Diane Duren speak about the committee that's looking into Dr. Tatum's literacy audit. And unfortunately, if I got this correct, and please correct me if I don't, it seems as if many of our teachers just don't feel prepared to teach writing, something that has to be done. An astonishing 65% of our elementary teachers, 75% of our secondary. So we know we have, professional development is one of our board goals. It's definitely going to be needed in that area. Another thing is that the SIP conference, the Students in Technology Conference, which has been going on for a few years, is going to be February 23rd at the high school, and everybody's looking forward to that. And just I know that the district is getting ready to put letters out because as we're getting ready to switch from ISAF to Park in 2014, the cut scores are going to be raised for the meets and exceeds, which means that all of our students are going to look like they're dumber, as if they got really bad. And it's just that they're raising those scores, so we have to expect to have some many scores that look lower than they have. What I said is going to do is going to take the 2012 scores and show them the way they came out with meets and exceeds at this time, and then compare them with the new cut scores. And information is going to be disseminated on that so that we're all aware of what's going on and the changes that will be made.
Yeah, I think it might be good to maybe even have that presented to the board at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually got letters going out to parents the first week we come back from break.
Okay. Colin?
Yeah, tech committee met yesterday. In newly formed or existing?
Newly formed.
Newly formed, yeah, which is now underneath the curriculum council. So technology will be more involved in those discussions. It's wild to think, was 6 months ago we were buying some math books, or a year ago, and I asked, is there an electronic version? Everyone's kind of looking around, and now it's just phenomenal in these conversations where that's just a given where we're going. The district's our district committee BHAG, let's say the big, hairy, audacious goal is to be, by 2016, the ability to be completely electronic with everything. So we've been spending a lot of time working through that process to see what we need and what foundation we need to start building. But now the district's broken into 4 primary goals to initially start working on. And that's, we're doing a complete assessment of all the technology that we have, what technology it looks like we need in the classroom, so we can start getting our head around what the equity looks like in the various schools and what we're going to need from a funding perspective in order to bring that equity and also bring the district up to the standard that we need to really start educating our kids and incorporating technology into the classroom in a more effective way than we currently do. We're also evaluating open access. As kids are coming in with cell phones, iPads, all this stuff, how can we be welcome to those devices and they can use them to engage and engage in a learning environment. Electronic classroom management, we're actually piloting, rather than doing it district-wide, onto all the schools. We actually picked a couple schools and they're piloting a classroom management type program to, one, bring homework, classroom assignments, textbooks, all that available to parents, available to the student outside of class, as well as if they had a device to interface with. And then the last thing, one thing that's really cool, it's called Atomic Learning?
Atomic Learning.
Atomic Learning. We've subscribed to a database of training videos from Excel to Smartboard that teachers will be able to, other faculty will be able to reach out and get education on demand. But what's really cool about it is 2 things. We can open it up to parents. So if there's parents out there that would like to become more proficient in Microsoft Office, they'll have the ability to go on and get that developmental training that hopefully will help them in their individual careers as well. And the last super cool thing about that is we can post our own videos. And Denise Fleming does a great job on instructional videos, 2 minutes long, that she can post. So if there's curriculum topics or technology topics, we'll have one place for students and faculty to go to get that education that they need in order to interface with the technology or grow as individual learners all electronically. And this has happened in like 6 months. And I gotta give so much credit to Doug's leadership and Denise Fleming and Brian Tobin. Denise Fleming is absolutely phenomenal. And I think that was a key component to bring to Brian's team, to have that liaison and to have that grunt worker that doesn't have to fix the Cisco switch. She's working with how can we make teachers more effective from a technology perspective. So I'm absolutely blown away by the progress that has been made. And I got to commend administration, curriculum council, and then the district technology committee on the work that they've done. It's been great.
Question?
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, we'll be able to see like a timeline for, you know, I know you guys are still in planning and so forth, but a timeline for implementation of a lot of that stuff and even potentially using some of our, you know, some of the grant money to help accelerate that?
Correct. So the assessment piece that's happening right now, that they're relatively on target with accomplishing. They're hoping to be able to finalize it over break, but they may not be able to. But that's going to give us an idea of the infrastructure that we have, what we are, one, lacking, and what is going to need to be updated for budgetary numbers for FFAC to start using those numbers to be able to plug in. And then all the way to, if we put a device in every child's hand, what does that look like from a 3-4 year perspective? So it's coming.
Yeah, the Facilities and Finance Committee originally planned to be here by the end of the year. That looks like January. We did not cover off the ball in 6 months. All we did was keep getting into the crux of everything, back counting classrooms and buildings and all that stuff. But they are ready to come with their findings and information in January. And I think you'll find it very interesting. They too, through a number of people that are on that committee, have worked very hard and dissected just a boatload of information. So you can plan on seeing those recommendations here shortly. And then the follow-on to that would be ultimately, once the utilization of particular buildings has been determined, then we'll get into the prioritization of parity and all of that sort of thing. So we're getting there.
Good. Anybody else have anything to add? Continuing to work with DCTA on contract negotiations. Obviously, we won't talk about those, but we're making good progress on our interest-based bargaining. Right, Mrs. Lofthouse?
There's a
Okay.
great progress.
Very good. Very good. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to an expulsion of a student potentially. It's been recommended by administration that student number 121812-A, as identified in the student's file kept in the superintendent's office, be expelled for the remainder of the 2012-2013 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, any discussion on this? Seeing none, vote please.
Colin Barnes,
Yes.
Nina Fontana,
Yes.
Michael Lord,
Yes.
Tom Mattia,
Yes.
Mike Burbick,
Yes.
Tracy Williams.
Yes.
It's also been recommended that student number 121812-B, as identified in the student's file kept in the superintendent's office, be expelled for the remainder of the 2012-13 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Nina Fontana,
Yes.
Michael Lord,
Yes.
Tom Mattia,
Yes.
Mike Burbick,
Yes.
Tracy Williams,
Yes.
Colin Barnes.
Yes.
Okay, that communication will go forward, Mr. Mullins?
Yes.
Okay, our non-business consent agenda. It's been recommended that the Board of Education approve the non-business consent agenda items A through D.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Michael Lord,
Yes.
Tom Mattia,
Yes.
Mike Burbick,
Yes.
Tracy Williams,
Yes.
Colin Barnes,
Yes.
Nina Fontana.
Yes.
Passes, motion passes. On item E, I don't believe that was part of the,
Yeah, it was.
it was? Okay. Business consent agenda. It's been recommended that the Board of Education approve the business consent agenda, items A through F.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Mike Burbick,
Yes.
Tracy Williams,
Yes.
Colin Barnes,
Yes.
Nina Fontana,
Yes.
Michael Lord,
Yes.
Tom Mattia.
Yes. Motion passes. We'll move on to item number 10, our business and finance, for the approval of the 2012 tax levies. Presentation was held, Andrew, I think the last meeting in November. Is that correct? And then we had the hearing this evening. Seeing such, it's been recommended that the Board of Education adopt the proposed tax levy for the 2012 tax year as attached in the board packet.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Tracy Williams,
Yes.
Colin Barnes,
Yes.
Nina Fontana,
Yes.
Michael Lord,
Yes.
Tom Mattia,
Yes.
Mike Burbick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Appraisal of land by the high school. We have Andrea speak to this a little bit. At our last meeting, we did approve to go out for bid to have that appraisal done. So it's been recommended, well, we need to talk about it first.
So we had 4 people, actually I received a list from one of our local banks on the appraisers that they most often use and have background in the farmland. So it's, in your attachment you will see there are actually 4 people who participated in providing us information and are interested in proceeding with the duty of appraising that property. Bob Carlson, as you all know, appraised the previous parcel of land on the south side as well as our district office here. So while he's in here at the cost of $2,000, on the low end of this, we have Martin, Goodrich, and Waddell for $1,200. But again, if you're looking for continuity and consistency on someone who has worked with us, Bob Carlson actually is a viable person, and I have deadline dates on here actually of which they are all extremely busy right now appraising farmland and gave us timelines in which they could complete the task. And then also as well with Martin Rich and Waddell. Both parties claim they could complete this in a 3 to 4 week process from the time of starting tomorrow, actually, whenever the person would be appointed.
So I think the question that faces the board is whether or not we would go with the low bid, which I think is Martin Goodrich, or we want to maintain continuity with the person who's done appraisals for the school district. What is the board, any input on that?
My personal preference is to go with the low bidder. We've got some very quality appraisers that's on this list, and the low bidder is one of those quality appraisers, and I've got no problems in using him.
Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Seeing that, would I ask that we entertain a motion that the Board of Education hire Martin Goodrich and Waddell, is that correct? To appraise the property owned by Shodine Development. The estimated contract cost is between $1,200 and $1,500. Andrea, it says in the motion $1,500 to $2,000, but I believe the bid was at $1,200.
Right, he did give us a written quote on here for $1,200.
So we will make the motion for $1,200.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Colin Barnes?
Yes.
Nina Fontana?
Yes.
Michael Lord?
Yes.
Tom Mattia?
Yes.
Mike Burbick?
Yes.
Stacy Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes. Under new business, this is an informational item. Dr. Mueller is going to discuss the projections for K mathematics. We talked a little bit about this at one of our previous meetings.
In the November meeting, yes.
And this is, we asked him to come back with some of the costs.
Did the presentation, and this is just basically, there's a lot more information here than you probably need, but basically there was the 3 recommendations at the elementary level were professional development, everyday math for our teachers, horizontal and vertical articulation of and alignment of the curriculum, as well as its alignment with the Common Core state standards. And then also, one of the recommendations was to spend, make a concerted effort to get our parents more up to speed on everyday math so they're familiar with it. So you'll see from that the cost of implementing those recommendations at the elementary level comes up to about $17,345. At the middle school, we had 5 recommendations, one of which, the most important and critical one we felt was increasing instructional minutes, because again, the connected mathematics sequence that's used at the middle school is designed for 60-minute-a-day lesson. They currently have 43 minutes per day, so actually these kids are getting short 6 to 7 minutes a day. Then the second recommendation involved little work on grading and having common assessments and articulation with the Common Core state standards. The big ticket item you'll see item 3 would be the purchase of the Connected Math 3 program, which includes, by the way, it's not formally on the market yet, so but talking with the vendor, that would include 4 years of online resources as well, including the online textbooks. That's estimated at about $196,875. And then the professional development to work with our teachers on that new curriculum. And then work with some materials for Tier 3 intervention. The middle school recommendations go up to $202,000, $915,000. The total for the two would be $220,000. The key thing here is this funding would come out of supplemental general state aid from the curriculum department. It would not impact the deficit at all, because we're basically using money that we've got some discretion on how to allocate that funding, and we do have that funding available to move forward with these expenditures, and it does not affect the deficit at all.
Questions for Dr. Mueller? Doug, I guess I got a question about implementation timeline. I mean, we come back, we would approve this at the next meeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
And would all this be done so it would be in effect for the 2013
We have
school year?
the professional development. We've already lined up a consultant, or had part of the conversation with a consultant to do training with a core group of our teachers, who then will train at grade levels for the elementary. So the plan is to have all this implemented by next year.
Okay, any other, oh, sorry.
I want to go back to the purchase of connecting access program three.
Right.
That's the biggest cost of 200,000 almost on this whole thing. You talk about the supplemental to general state aid. That's not in addition to what we're getting today, is that correct? We're going to be replacing something?
We're supplanting, basically. A lot of money in supplemental general state aid does go towards textbook. We've already spent out of that money. So far this year, we spent over $181,000 on textbook replacement. So a large portion of supplemental general state aid is allocated towards textbooks, not only textbooks, but also consumable products.
Is there anything that's going to that won't get purchased because of this large purchase that we're looking to make?
We, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of other areas where teachers feel, I mean, the high school, I know, they've got books that chemistry books we were able to buy. But there's a lot of textbooks that are in bad shape. Some can be rebound, some cannot be rebound. So we have to make some decisions.
But this, in your opinion, is the priority?
Yes, because it's based on the board's priority with the alignment and ethics.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, since item 1 seems to be what it's all predicated on, is getting those additional minutes for math. You know, if that's 13 minutes extra or 17 minutes extra
Per day.
I have to do math. But are they working on that already, how to find that time during the day?
That's what's going to have to be worked out with, I'm going to have to work with the middle school principals on that.
You foresee that it's possible?
Yes, it is possible, but again, minutes have to be taken away from somewhere else.
Seems we keep flip-flopping those minutes there, and I understand the reasons for it, but it keeps changing. Okay.
Well, I mean, our focus for a while has been literacy, so I implemented the literacy block, and that eroded the way of minutes, obviously, in mathematics. Not saying that that's minutes are necessarily going to come from the literacy.
From literacy, from.
But there'll have to be a lot of conversations with, not only with the administration, but with the staff to see where that additional time can come from.
All right. Thank you.
I don't want to speak for the FFAC, but I think you'll see some things maybe next month when they present that maybe also opens up that discussion about time.
All right. Thank you.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Will consensus of the board bring that back for approval? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is an information item, but Jessica's also asking for action on this. And I'll let her explain why.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Approval of addition certified staff, a 4/10 position of speech and language pathologist. Before I entertain a motion, Jessica, I'd like you to give us a little
Can explain
background.
it a little bit. Our speech and language pathologists are the only related service group that has a maximum student cap provided by the state. They can only serve 60 students per full-time position. We have 9 full-time positions. They are either at or near their max at this time, and we have several evaluations kind of in the works. We have 60 days to evaluate a student for special education. We fully anticipate to be over maxes in the new year. This happens every year. We have a line item where we typically will pull in contractual services to pick up a day here or there just to balance loads a little bit. But with the timing of this particular need, it just seems silly to not try and pull a new graduate in, maybe in a part-time position. Try them out. We anticipate the following year having some flexibility with a need that we'll have for staffing and speech and language pathology. So it would be a nice opportunity for a new grad. It'd also give us an opportunity to kind of try somebody out that maybe would be with us more full-time, although there's a lot to accomplish between now and then. So it just seems fiscally more responsible to actually look for a part-time position because our contractual rates are actually fairly expensive. And we're hoping we can kind of bring somebody on board more long-term.
Questions for Jessica? Okay, with that being said, it's been asked that the Board of Education approve the recommendation to post a 4/10 position for speech and language pathologist. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Nina Fontana,
Yes.
Michael Lord,
Yes.
Tom Matia,
Yes.
Mike Burbick.
Yes.
Tracy Williams,
Yes.
Colin Barnes.
Yes.
Motion passes. Jessica. Okay, we'll move on to any agenda building items. We'll start our Christmas break soon. Enjoy our families. With that, is there a motion for adjournment this evening?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Yeah, I'm glad we had that. Hey, guys.
All right.
We have a bell here.